And a little bit too. I think the
There it
tone
is.
was already.
Okay.
We're live.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another wonderful East Coast version of Retro Reload. It is Thursday, and that means it's time for the East Coast cast and crew to talk about some fun video game related stuff. I am really excited tonight because we have a fun topic and we have a special guest. So, yeah, why don't we start getting into it? As you all know, I'm Cashel, and I'm feeling really pretty right now because I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts. And joining me, we have the righteous Red Blaze 57 coming to us from New Jersey.
Yep, and I can tell you that the Disco Pinball Convention is weird.
And from the natural state of Arkansas, we have one of the most muscular men I know, and that would be Turf. Sometimes he goes by Jason.
I'm more fluffy than I am muscular.
Well, you fooled me.
Aw, don't downsell yourself.
Fluffer?
The camera adds 10 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
Wait,
He's driving right now, so we can't see his face, but we know he's there. Of course, I'm talking about Dash V from California.
Hello, I really enjoy peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Who doesn't? From Chicago, representing with all of his cool Chicago Cubs gear, it's Mr. Nikon. Sometimes he goes by Charles.
What's up?
And we have a special guest on the VG Collect forum. He is known as Telly. In real life, he goes by Asa. And he has been on a few episodes in the past. Unfortunately, I never got to join because of who knows what. But the point is, he's here now, and I'm so excited. Coming to us from Michigan, it is Telly.
From Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor. Oh, I love Ann Arbor. It's really nice there.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So-
communists prevented him from coming on the show before.
That's right. The Illuminati prevented him from coming on.
Illuminati's Pizza?
Well, super excited to have you on. I know that you are going to dig this topic that we have in store. As you all know, it is October, and to continue our tradition of scary games, we are going to talk about another franchise that is all about survival horror and all about scares and thrills and all that good stuff. Last week we talked about Resident Evil, and as some people like to call it, we're going to talk about Resident Evil's evil twin. Of course, I'm talking about Silent Hill. Yes, tonight we will talk about the Silent Hill series, one of my favorite survival horror series of all time. It's not just in video game format. Just like Resident Evil, it has gone to movies and comics. There's a few graphic novels out there, and I'm not sure if there's any anime or manga, but
I don't think so.
needless to say,
Not just the comics.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's gotten around. So, yeah, let's get into it. So I guess quick show of hands, or whatever. Who is familiar with the Silent Hill series besides obviously me? So. Okay. Well, Telly, you're a special guest. What was your first Silent Hill game?
The first one I played was Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
I think it's probably the most popular one out of the series, so that was the one that I got introduced to first. So that's kind of how I got started. And then after that, I obviously wanted to play more games in the series, so I think I played 3 after that, which was a bad idea because it's a sequel to the first game.
Yeah.
So I ended up kind of putting that on hold, and then I played 4 and the first one, and then went back and beat 3. So, but I haven't played any of the other games that were made after the original team kind of disbanded. So, for those of you who don't know, after Silent Hill 4, Team Silent kind of broke up, and Konami delegated new games to these Western development studios, and so all of those games were made by other people. And I think there are maybe 4 more after the first 4, maybe 5, I don't remember. But anyway, that's kind of my first.
We'll learn about that.
Yeah.
Very cool. My son, I'll just go down the line right here. Mr. Nikon, I saw you give like the so-so. So.
Can
I don't remember which game I played. I haven't played it in forever.
Yeah.
I did see the movie, though,
Okay, that's something.
way back when.
Wasn't that long ago.
Well, I don't know when it came out. When did it come out?
The first one came out, I think, in 2006.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The second one, it wasn't
It's
that
like
long
10
ago.
years.
Oh, I just looked. The second one was 2012.
Okay, yeah. Cool, very cool. Dash V, are you familiar with the series as well?
I'm familiar with the series, but for some reason, I'm tuned in tonight because I'm, much like with Resident Evil Revelations, which Red Blaze has convinced me to get a 3DS for and the game,
Yeah.
which I've done.
I didn't necessarily get
I'm
yes
willing to be convinced to jump into the series, but I want to know specifically things like what order should I jump in, what one should I get, what one should I avoid, because my recollection of it, the reason I didn't get into it originally was because somehow I got the feeling that it was just a watered down attempt at Resident Evil that couldn't quite live up to it. But
Okay.
I'm very happy to be wrong in that.
Well, that's what this topic is about tonight. We're going to learn a lot about the series, which should be a lot of fun. So, continuing down the line, Turf, you did not raise your hand, so you don't know anything about the series, it sounds like.
Oh, I don't know the first thing about it. I'm here to ask you questions since it's a talk.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear. I'm going to stop you right there. You are kind of breaking up.
Oh,
No, I didn't lose you. I can still sort of understand you, but you sound kind of like
Auto-tune.
yeah, you sound auto-tune like Kanye West.
Yeah, you're going pub speed.
You said he sounds like Kanye West.
Or no, T-Pain. T-Pain, that's who I meant. Well, they both suck. But anyway,
What if T-Pain is one of our viewers?
T-Pain. Well, we lost him.
Anything?
A little bit better,
All right. Hold on.
but not much though.
Okay. I'm gonna turn the video off. Maybe that'll.
A little bit better,
All
yeah.
right. How about now? This is Telly. I'm gonna bring this over to you. Since you played, you said 1, and or 3 was the sequel to 1, right? That's what what you said ago.
Yeah.
So 1 is a story, 2 is a completely different story, and then 3 jumps back to 1. Okay, I'm just trying to keep up. Just making sure. Just making sure I'm caught up. Okay.
So
Y'all carry on.
It's kind
Carry on.
So in a way, it's a little bit like Resident Evil, where you had the first game, and where then you had the second game follow 2 other protagonists, and you had the third one go back to Jill.
Okay. I didn't know that.
All right, so then, but then is 4 a sequel to 2, or is 4 its own thing itself? Because it sounded like you jumped away from 3 to 4 and then went back to 1, right?
Yeah. 4 is its own game too. It has its own story.
That being said, in Silent Hill 2, they reference, this is really weird. They actually reference 4. There is a kind of like it's not really an Easter egg, but there's a part where you can kind of venture off and you learn about this murder case, and the murder case kind of takes center stage in Silent Hill 4. It's really interesting, especially if you like kind of play them back to back. But yeah, it's something definitely worth looking into. So moving right along, Red Blaze. You kind of raised your hand.
Yeah, my experience is very little. I've been more of a Resident Evil fan when it comes to survival horror, I guess. But I mean, I got 1, 2, and 4. I picked them all up at the flea market for like $1 each.
Oh, nice.
I played a little bit of the first one just to see if the disc worked, and that was pretty much my experience with it.
Okay, cool. My first Silent Hill was the first one, so I had to suffer with the grainy graphics and the back controls and the
Terrible voice acting.
terrible. Yes, it was so bad. But despite all my suffering, it was a pretty cool game, and that was the one that actually won me over. Because even back in those days, people were starting to kind of be divided. They were either Resident Evil or they were Team Silent Hill, and I became Team Silent Hill just after that. But we can talk about that later. So it sounds like everyone here has, well, maybe with the exception of Turf, but even in some way, kind of, we have some exposure to this series. And I just want to see, like, for those that do enjoy it, what is it that draws you towards those games? Tell you want to start us off again?
Yeah, sure. I guess
Special guest.
you and I can kind of speak to that.
Yeah.
It's hard because I haven't played all the Resident Evil games, so I don't have the best handle on what that series is particularly about. I've played the fourth one, and I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. But like I said, I don't have a lot of experience with it. So for me, I just really like the series because I just think they're really fun to play, and they're obviously terrifying, and that's obviously a good strength. But I think Silent Hill also has a really good story behind it. So I think that's another thing that it brings to the table. And Resident Evil 4 has its own kind of story, and it's a kind of a different theme, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like a B-movie horror kind of story, which is, that's fine. It's its own. That's totally fine. But that was kind of what made me really interested in the series, and especially Silent Hill 2 has a lot of kind of symbolism.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say that.
and a lot of hidden detail. It's really polished in terms of its presentation, and the monsters all have specific meaning relating to the character's subconscious. The town is kind of the antagonist of the game. It's sort of this dark power that manifests parts of people's nightmares and forces them to come to terms with, a dark part of their past. So I just found that really interesting. I don't know if you wanted to add any more to that, Philip.
Well, you're right on the money. And one of the things that I always tell people, like, and this is nowadays, I like both series. I think Resident Evil is great. I think Silent Hill is great as well. But what I tell people is, if you want to just get a good jump scare.
Can I jump real quick?
Yeah, what's up? Go ahead. Oh, we can hear you. That is.
Okay. Anything?
Oh dear. Try it again.
Yeah, we're not getting it.
We're not getting you, buddy. Yes, no, maybe so. You there?
Just go back to listening.
Go back to listen. I wish we could fix you.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, and Jason, whenever you have like good service again, jump right in with your question or whatever. What I was just gonna say was, like, if you want like a good jump scare, go with Resident Evil. But if you want to have a good nightmare and kind of ponder everything afterwards and just kind of be really scared from the inside out, go with Silent Hill. Those games will really make you think. And yeah, they have the jump scares and they have like the creepy environments. But when you actually like finish the game and realize this is what you've done, you're like, whoa, this is a pretty messed up world that I just entered. And I think that just adds to the series' appeal. I mean, like Telly said, most of the monsters, if not all of them, have some sort of symbolism, and you're not just fighting a zombie or a zombie dog or a zombie wolf or like you're fighting just grotesque-looking creatures that just should not exist in the world.
Right.
And I love it. That's what I love about it.
Like Pyramid Head in particular, kind of the face of the franchise, was created for the main character of Silent Hill 2. It's his kind of monster, and it represents his subconscious. So they're all designed in that kind of way. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Exactly.
Until Pyramid Head got popular.
What was that, Red Blaze?
Until the Pyramid Head got popular.
Right, and they put him in the movie, and they put him in. I think he's in Downpour too. I don't know.
I think that they put him in every game afterwards.
He wasn't in 4.
No, he wasn't in Origins either. They had another guy called like the Butcher.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
It was like a mini Pyramid Head, but
yeah,
he wasn't.
Like
he wasn't
a wannabe
Homecoming.
Pyramid Head. Oh, was that Homecoming?
No. In Homecoming, he was there. In Origins,
okay.
he had like it wasn't a pyramid. It was like a.
Oh yeah, one of the endings in Homecoming is they make the main character Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
It's like a secret ending or something like that.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, I spoiled that.
So I just got a request from someone. And he's asking, what exactly is Silent Hill about? When you think Resident Evil, obviously you think, okay, it's about you being a member of an elite group of policemen or military personnel, and you're fighting zombies. Silent Hill, it's a little different. So it's kind of hard to sum up like what it's told.
Does he mean like the story? What's the story about? Or
We could start with that essentially. Or in fact, why don't we start with like what the first game's about, and that you can kind of take it from there. So, I can't even remember the main character's name from the first one. Do you remember his name? What was it?
Harry.
Harry, that's it. Yeah. So, in the first Silent Hill, you take control of this guy named Harry. He was driving. With his daughter. They get into an accident. Harry wakes up in this crazy world of Silent Hill, and he's trying to find his daughter. That's basically what it starts off as. But as you venture deeper and deeper into the story, you learn more about Harry's past and what's actually going down in this creepy location. Mm-hmm. And am I missing anything on that?
He's looking for his missing daughter. I don't know. Did you mention that? I might have missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. And specifically, there's a cult in Silent Hill, and they're trying to resurrect like this demon god, and so they're gonna try to use Harry's daughter to kind of accomplish that. And Silent Hill 3 kind of picks off after the conclusion of the first game. But I think, like we mentioned, 2 and 4 are very different. They have different stories. I guess for kind of like a general sort of blanket statement about what the games are about, they're kind of about a power behind the town that's been perverted and twisted in some way, mm-hmm. and that draws people who have, a dark past or something like that. I think that would probably be the best way to sum up all of them.
Yeah, that's a good way to. I mean, this is one of the ones I played.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in a nutshell, basically, people with screwed up pasts get drawn to this town.
Mm-hmm. That's certainly the case with 2. I guess maybe 4 as well.
So is the town evil, or so the town's like the enemy?
Kind
of. It depends on, I guess, well, it partially depends on what game you're playing. And I think it's just kind of like a breeding ground for just all sorts of psychological terror that kind of manifests, because as...
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it to play each game because they experiment with this idea in different ways. Like Silent Hill 4 has you go into the subconscious of this murderer that Philip just mentioned that was in Silent Hill 2. So that's kind of how that game toys with this idea of subconscious and this dark past and stuff like that. So I think, each game kind of does it in a different way.
Yeah, and each game, it still takes place in a Silent Hill town, but every time you play it, the town looks a little bit different. So Silent Hill 2's town is going to be different from Silent Hill 3's, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And interestingly enough, Silent Hill 4 doesn't really even take place in Silent Hill. It just gets mentioned a lot, which mm-hmm. I thought was a bold choice, but it's still just as creepy as any of the other ones in this series. So, just something to keep in mind. Now, I guess I have a question then for Telly, and Telly, you can redirect it back to me then if you want.
Sure.
For those who are interested in the series, I mean, if you like survival horror games, and if you like, a good scare and really, really excellent haunting atmosphere, what is a good one in the series to start off with?
My first choice would probably be Silent Hill 2. I think it's probably like I said, it's the one that's most popular, and I think it's because the story's really good. Other than that, probably the first one would be fine as well. I definitely wouldn't recommend starting with the third game because you need to have played the first one to understand kind of the backstory and all of that. Mm-hmm. Silent Hill 4, they changed up a lot of stuff with the controls and the menus and the gameplay. It's very, very different. I think it's in a good way, but it might not be the best introduction because it's a little different, I guess. So I would say probably the second one if I had to recommend it. And if you wanted to play the second game, it's available on the PS2, the Xbox. I think it's on the PC as well. It might be on the PSN. I don't know. The first game's on the PSN, but I don't know about the second game.
Any idea which, like, for the ones that are multi-platform, any idea which is the definitive one, like best graphics, that kind of thing?
That's a good question. The Xbox version has a couple of added features. It has a different. This is for Silent Hill 2. It has a different scenario where you play as one of the kind of sub characters and kind of go through her story. That's also on the PS2. That's on the greatest hits version of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I should mention, if you want to get the PS2 version of Silent Hill 2, I would recommend the greatest hits release, not the Black Label one.
Yeah. But I mean,
If you want something,
general,
go ahead,
you
Liz.
gotta remember with that generation, the PS2, as far as cleaning up the graphics, it tends to be the worst out of all four.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. So the Xbox is probably good for it, in that case too.
Now, if you want something a little more modern, there is a Silent Hill HD collection, and that's on the PlayStation 3. It contains an HD version of 2 and 3. So if you don't want to dig out an older console, then you can go with those versions.
But I mean, I've heard some pretty bad stuff with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. So if you want to risk it maybe messing up a save or something like that, then proceed at your own risk. That said, it is that's probably the best looking version. That said, though, I mean the one on the PS2, it's like $5 complete. So
they're not that expensive.
It's not expensive at all.
With the HD collection, they changed up. Obviously, the voice acting was something that they changed around, which is kind of strange. And then they changed the music. They changed the way the game looks. They did a lot of tampering with it. Instead of just porting it and updating what the game looks like, they changed the assets. They changed the sounds. They were going to change the whole story. They were going to write a new script for it. They were going to do all this crazy stuff to it. So yeah,
It'd be interesting to know how much of the sound and music changes were due to licensing, because I know a lot of what's holding up a bunch of games from coming back is that in a lot of cases the composers they weren't part of the main development team. They were separate composers that composed music, and the licensing for the music was entirely separate from any of the other. The artist does the art, and that's the art for the game. The programmer does the coding, and that's the coding for the game. But it's really interesting, a lot of these games, the music still ends up owned by the composer of the music. So
yeah, and I think that's what happened with the voice acting. I think the people who did the original voices wanted some compensation for, I believe, the Xbox release of Silent Hill 2, because I think that was ported and the voices were used without compensation, and I think that's why they opted to recast the games. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's right, and that would make sense, from what you're saying.
Did not know that. It's pretty interesting. Well, 2 is a good place to start. I will agree with
What do you think?
And I have a hard time saying start with 1. I mean, I haven't played it in years, but I cannot imagine it aging very well.
Yeah, it's my least favorite out of the first 4.
Okay.
But it's the first one in the series, so it might be a good place to start.
Now, I've heard I was talking to somebody at this Aaron Retro. He was telling me that the 2, it's his favorite game of all time. Is 2 really the best one in the series, or?
I would say so. I go between 2 and 3. I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to say. Maybe you have something to add with that, because I'm into something.
Well, I like 2. I think it's great, and it was actually one of the first ones I actually finished to completion. Did everything I could, and it was one that really terrified me because of Pyramid Head. talk more about him in a minute.
You
But
just said finish complete.
yeah, but the one that I would say is like the best to me is number 4. Even though it doesn't take place in the Silent Hill world, it still has that Silent Hill feel, and Silent Hill gets referenced over and over again. Just something about how different 4 was and the whatnot. Just really, that's my favorite one.
I like 4 a lot too. Yeah, it's really good.
Originally, it wasn't even supposed to be part of the series. It was supposed to just be
Yeah.
called The Room or something like that, but they put the Silent Hill stamp on there.
They were working on it while they were working on Silent Hill 3 as like a side project.
Oh, really?
And then they kind of developed it into a Silent Hill game, probably for brand recognition, I would imagine. And then they released it a year after.
I remember reading about that one. That's the one where like you're in an apartment or like a hotel room or something, and as the story progresses, the room gets more like grody and nasty and freaky and stuff.
It's really something. It's probably the best part of the game for me because it's always random, the kind of hauntings that you'll see. So when you wake up in your bed, there could be like this shadowy figure in the closet right next to you, and you don't know what it's going to be. So it really keeps you on the edge of your seat. There'll be like blood coming out of the sink in your kitchen. The windows will be like, it sounds like it's kind of whatever, but it was really scary. I don't know.
Yeah, it was really scary, and you're playing it from a first-person perspective.
Right.
Something I normally cannot stand, but Silent Hill 4 did it right. Like it just really added to the effect.
Yeah,
like you can call the phone and it'll like speak in tongues at you. It's just so much freakiness to it. I love it.
It makes those hauntings a little bit more real when it's in first person. If it was in third person, it'd probably be a little detached, I guess.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we have some Silent Hill novices. Maybe is a good way to look at it. So, do you guys have any questions about the series at all that we haven't covered as of yet?
We haven't really talked about the other games past the first 4. I don't know if we wanted to touch on those.
I've only touched one of them.
Yeah.
So of the first 4,
yeah,
Silent Hill 2 would be the best of the Silent Hill-ish of them. That's actually more. Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the one that I would recommend.
Sounds like 2 and 4 are worth looking into, and 3 only if you're willing to power through 1.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the whole Star Trek thing. Like the even number ones.
The odd ones.
Forget the odd one, just go with the even number ones.
No, I mean, I personally didn't like Silent Hill 3. That's the only one. That's one of the ones I could not get through. It just something.
It's really hard. It's kind of too difficult, I would say.
Yeah, it's also pretty brutal as well. But I still say at least look at some footage of it, see if it's something you might enjoy. But yeah, definitely start. I like Telly's recommendation. Start with 2.
Okay.
Or if you're willing to power through it, start with 1. That's my choice. Mr. Nikon, you okay?
If you wanted to get the full story experience, is there a existing YouTuber or someone out there who's done a nice like let's play that would kind of take you through 1 and 3 enough to get the story and the feel of what Silent Hill is, and then with 2 and 4, or are you gonna? Because I guess my concern would be if I skip 1 and 3, am I gonna really miss out on the heart of what like the whole Silent Hill concept is about?
I think Silent Hill 1 and 3 are kind of the main story, I would say, of the series, and I think 2 and 4 kind of do their own thing, I guess, in more of a spin-off fashion, even though they're definitely connected to what the games are all about. As far as a YouTuber goes, I know Twin Perfect is a channel that does a lot of material on Silent Hill. I don't think they have playthroughs, but they have a lot of really nice reviews and analyses and just a lot of content about the series in general. So that's what I would say as far as that goes. But okay. I don't think they have playthroughs of the game.
Are any of the movies or the comics in line with the 1 and 3 story?
The first one is kind of like the first game. And the next movie is kind of like Silent Hill 3, but they're still kind of their own.
Yeah.
Their own
They
thing.
I think they differ from the story of the video game a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how because I haven't seen the movie, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
The
they
comics the
Yeah.
comics are totally different. They're way out there.
Oh yeah.
So is
They
it
do
like
their own thing.
is it like how the Sonic Archie comics are totally different to Sonic games type thing?
Yeah.
I'm guessing so.
So the first Silent Hill, that was for the PlayStation 1, right?
Mhm. And you can get it on
So-
PSN if you'd like. I think that game.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering is if the controls and especially the graphics might be more palpable on the PlayStation Portable. Maybe it'd be a worthy romp on the PSP.
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
You could do that. And one thing we kind of mentioned earlier, Silent Hill Origins, that's on the PSP,
Oh yeah.
and that's a really fun one to start with too.
I've been meaning to give that a go on the PS2. I'd like to try that.
It's on the PS2 as well?
Mhm.
Did not know that.
Yeah, they did a bunch of porting of the like the best-selling PSP games. They brought a lot of them over to the PS2. Like what's it called? The GTA games on PSP.
Grand Theft Auto, the Jack and Daxter, Lost Frontier, the Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank games.
Yeah, they did it with a few of those.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would definitely say you really can't go wrong with any of them except for starting with 3.
Yeah.
Now there's more
Just 'cause of the
beyond that,
story.
obviously. Like there's Silent Hill Homecoming, which is pretty fun, and there's like I can't even keep track of which ones are out now. Something like Shattered.
The Shattered Memories.
Memories.
That one.
There's Downpour, and then there's Book of Memories on the Vita, which is a like dungeon crawler kind of game. It's very
That
different.
makes sense.
I think that was it. That was the last game they made in the
Okay.
series. And then Silent Hills was going to happen, but that didn't.
Yeah, and the PT and all that stuff. So.
You know what? Screw Konami. I'm sorry, but that just pissed me off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not because Kojima was working on it. I was more excited because Del Toro was working on that game. I'm a big fan of the Hellboy movies, and to see his visionary work on the big screen, and we're just imagining that in a video game got me so excited.
So here's a question.
Yeah.
Watching a Let's Play, dealio, we get the same experience as playing the game.
I would say probably not. I actually watched a Let's Play of Silent Hill 4 before I played it, and it definitely impacted the game. It's probably why I liked the apartment hauntings the most, because that was the part I wasn't expecting. I think you definitely, you need to be playing the game to really feel the horror and experience the kind of the fear, I guess.
Okay.
Now with 1, I think if you were to watch, not even a Let's Play, you could just watch like a video, because like some YouTube channels have the game from start to finish with no annoying commentary or comments and all that stuff. For the first Silent Hill, I think you'd be fine with that, just so you can get your feet wet. 2 and beyond, it won't be the same thing. You should definitely check them out. And they're short games. I mean, they're really quick, and you usually can set the difficulty. So
Right.
you can set the difficulty of the monsters. You can set the difficulty of the puzzles, which are a lot of fun.
We can talk about that.
Yes, there's lots of puzzles in Silent Hill, and they're lots of fun.
Mhm.
Jigsaw
How many of them
puzzle?
are pushing?
Yes. What was that, Red Blaze?
How many of them have you pushing boxes around?
Honestly,
I don't
not
think
that.
any of them.
I can't really think. Like, maybe some of the ones I haven't played, but no, like you have to make patterns and put books in the right order, and it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's nothing like too thought provoking, but it adds to the atmosphere.
And you can set the difficulty of those too, so
Mhm.
if that's not really your thing, you can just make them on easy mode and then just play the rest of the game.
Yep, Silent Hill 2 has the option to offer has like an easy difficulty in terms of enemies and easy difficulty in terms of the puzzles.
Yeah.
So
I
really
would
anyone of any
probably
skill level can play through them.
right. I'd probably start on normal mode if I would recommend like a difficulty setting to start with.
Okay.
For Silent Hill 2, for Silent Hill 3, probably easy. I played
Yeah.
it on normal mode and I had a really hard time with it. And I got a 10-star ranking in Silent Hill 2 and I beat 4 and all that stuff, and it still gave me a lot of trouble. So I would probably say easy setting for
You got a 10 star in Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
Damn.
I liked it so much I decided to play it. So for that, I probably beat the game in a little over a couple of hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes for like a speed run. But I think my first playthrough was maybe about 12 hours. So it's definitely not a long game.
Yep. So you'll definitely like get the bang for your buck because it's such a cheap game to buy.
Yeah.
At least
I'm gonna find my ranking that I got. So after you beat the games, they'll kind of score you on your difficulty setting, the riddle setting, how much damage you took, how many items you picked up, the time, the ending that you got, and it'll give you like stars at the bottom. So you can play it again to try to get a different ending, try to increase your ranking. You can get like bonus items if you get a good score. Kind of like Resident Evil does the same thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually brings us to another thing. Just like most video game series, Silent Hill does have some fun moments, even though it is dark and serious. There are certain endings you can unlock that are just hilarious and, totally out of this world.
Like I'm not going to be able to get it in here. This is my ranking. It has the dog ending, so that was the ending that I got for that.
Okay. Yeah, but there's like a UFO ending. There's a
For a
dog
dog.
ending. It's pretty funny.
It's like the wow such dog end. It's really
the
cool.
Shiba.
Yeah.
It's a nice
So-
foresight there.
The
Here's
one thing that's totally iconic with Silent Hill are the monsters you face as you go through these crazy, crazy worlds. So for those that have played it, what are some of your favorite monsters that you've encountered? Besides Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head is awesome.
Y'all don't be scared to spoil me. Say whatever you want to, man.
Okay.
No, I don't. I wouldn't like to spoil anything. I'd like you all to play it, and because it has a lot of twists and it's really interesting.
Just do a Google search of Pyramid Head. You'll see
Yeah.
like just how creepy this guy is.
Probably, and I mentioned this when I was on the first show that I did, but probably the nurses from Silent Hill 3. They are terrifying.
Yeah.
They kind of like they're hunched over, and they kind of shuffle towards you, and they're breathing really heavily the whole time, even when you like go into your map or your menu. And then they'll start running at you, and they have guns, and none of the other monsters have guns, so they can like actually shoot
Bitches.
you.
Nurses with guns.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was really scary.
outside of the nurses and Pyramid Head, I can't think of another enemy from Silent Hill.
Yeah, I remember the straitjacket monsters from the second game to be
Oh,
pretty scary.
yeah, they spray acid.
They're annoying because they also have a ranged attack. They cough acid in your face, and they're like in a straitjacket, kind of shuffling towards you in the street. And if you knock them down, they start kind of
Twitching.
twitching, and they jerk all around the street, so it's hard to kill them.
They jerk. What honestly do what?
Jerk around.
Yeah,
Around.
yeah.
Not that type of game. This isn't Res for the PS2.
Circle?
One of my favorite monsters is in Silent Hill 4. I'm not sure the actual name of it,
Oh, yeah.
but picture
I know
this.
what
It's
you're
basically
talking
like, picture a giant black cloak, and in the middle of the cloak are two pale, deformed white heads of infants, so two little baby heads, and this thing walks on these giant white hands and just like stomps towards you with this, and they do this moaning sound that's really, really off-putting.
If you just Google Silent Hill 4 enemies, it's the first one that comes up.
Yeah, that's the one I remember the most. Like,
Yeah. Those were
All right,
pretty...
guys.
Yeah.
I just Googled Silent Hill monsters
Yeah.
and did the Google image search, and there's something that looks like a maid-looking thing.
Looks like a what?
It's like women. I see the human centipede. You know, like woman on top of woman on top of woman on top of woman, and it's 1, 2, 4, 5 women long. What is that?
Oh, I
Telly?
think
Take it away.
I know what you're
5 women
looking
long.
at. Yeah, that's in Homecoming, I think. It's
Was
not
it?
in the first game, so I'm not totally sure about where it comes from. I think it's from Silent Hill Homecoming. I can kind of look a little further to see if I'm right about that, but I don't remember.
I don't recall that one,
It's
Turf,
5
but
women long.
Yeah, I think it's from Homecoming. I see the main character here. He's fighting one with a knife.
okay. Yeah, Homecoming's a good one to start with too. It's a little bit more modern, and you won't miss any story segments, but you'll still get that good Silent Hill feel.
Yeah.
So, something to consider. But yeah, the
Yeah,
monsters in Silent Hill are just so iconic, and they usually represent something that the protagonist is going through.
Right. So I guess like the best example would probably be the nurses. So they're usually kind of sexualized, and that started with Silent Hill 2, because in that game it represented James as the main character. It represented his kind of sexual frustration because his wife was sick and in the hospital. So can't really do anything, right? So it's a kind of a frustration. Frustrated libido, I guess you could call it that way, and so that's why the nurses look like that in Silent
Short
Hill 2.
skirts, like
Yeah,
they're really
They got-
leggy.
they
very
got the
busty.
cleavage. You can Google it.
Yeah, it's a. We at Retro Reload have a PG-13 rating,
Right.
so we will not be sharing this image with everyone back at home. But
That bad.
I gotta listen.
yeah, you're right. They're not that bad.
Right. But after 2, they really took it too far, and the older games just put the nurses in there just because they're what people associate with the game, even though they don't really represent anything like they did in the second game. So just
The
kind of
nurses
like
are in the movie, by the way.
yeah, they're in the movie, they're in Homecoming, they're probably in every game, but
So, so Turf, Mr. Nikon, have we, and maybe Red Blaze, have we convinced you at all to maybe look into the series a little bit more?
Yeah,
I want to check it out.
it's always what I've thought about getting into,
Yeah.
but whenever I go to a game show, I don't really think about any PlayStation or Xbox games. I just look at like the
Vectrex.
NES,
Right.
the Vectrex, the NES games, the Super Nintendo games.
right.
Maybe I'll check it out after I finally get around to Fatal Frame. After that, maybe.
Oh yeah, I want to play some more of those games, or at least one of them. I don't even. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look up if Silent Hill 2 is available on the PSN.
Alrighty. What about you, Turf?
I would like to give it a shot. I'm more of I'd like to watch somebody play it. I think somebody that knew what they were doing, because I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I have such little time to play games, and I'm not into horror movies. I'm not into like horror stuff, but I'd like to hear the story. I'd like somebody to that knew what they were doing to play through it and let me just enjoy the story.
Well, one other option you can do is, if you don't mind doing a little bit of reading, check out this guy on, I'm not sure what site he's on, but if you just do like a Google search for Silent Pyramid, you'll have a really good synopsis of each story, each character, what each monster represents, and it's great reading material. He did a good job of kind of analyzing every game so far. So
I'm really into the idea of like the psychological type horror thing. That you're delving into people's psyche and what's trouble, their issues and their demons, and having to deal with that. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just another horror game. But I mean, I kind of like the idea of, like I said, the psychological horror.
Mm-hmm. When I would finish playing Silent Hill 2, I would be like scared to go to bed at night. It was probably the first. It was the first survival horror game that I played, so that probably had something to do with it. But it was a really anxious, tense experience. It really affected me after I finished it, and Silent Hill 3 probably even more so.
Even before you start fighting monsters in Silent Hill 2, like the game is just creepy. Like you're in this rundown gas station bathroom, and like the walls are crumbling,
If I
the
had a
floor's all
nickel.
creaky, it's all decrepit, and like it's just nasty looking. You walk outside and there's fog everywhere, and all of a sudden you start hearing these really weird sounds of like people moaning in agony, and you're just in the first couple of minutes of it.
Right.
So it just really just gets to you, and it holds on, and it really doesn't let go until the very end.
Mm-hmm. And like I think I mentioned this before, but there's a lot of really interesting symbolism and foreshadowing, and a lot of behind the scenes. The ending that you get, bless you. The ending that you get is based on your actions within the game. It's kind of like a kind of a psychological test. It all runs in the background. It depends on the actions that you do, and that affects the ending that you get. I think it applies for all the games. Definitely 2 and 4, kind of.
4 definitely, 2 definitely. I'm not sure about 3, but
I mean, three kind of wraps up the story of 1, so there aren't that many endings in general.
Origins has multiple endings too.
Yeah.
And so does Homecoming. Yeah. So you just gotta kind of pay attention to what you do. I recommend though, if you guys do get into it, try to avoid using like a walkthrough or a strategy guide for your first time. It's not that hard to figure stuff out, like where to go. It's pretty linear. So
and a lot of it is you look for a key for a certain door, and you have a map, so you just go to the rooms that you haven't been to and just kind of swing around. The main characters will turn their head to look at items, so you can kind of use that to see if there's an item that's kind of hidden out of sight. Real quick, Silent Hill 2 isn't on the PSN.
It is not?
No.
Damn.
Silent Hill 1 is, though.
Okay, cool. So yeah, something to check out potentially.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You all right?
Yeah.
Bless you. Over and over again. So, Mr. Nikon and Turf and sort of Red Blaze. Red Blaze says he wants to get into Fatal Frame first.
Yeah.
You guys gonna hop on the Silent Hill bandwagon and share your thoughts after you try?
Yeah.
Still thinking?
I'll probably get it at some point.
Yeah.
I just gotta write it down somewhere to remind myself to go pick it up when I find it.
'Tis the season. We're in Halloween season, so it's perfect for the time of year.
Yeah.
It'll be a Secret Santa gift.
Yeah, exactly.
Santa.
Which will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. But we have about 10 minutes left.
Enough. Nobody knows what we were referencing on VG Collect. We're doing a Secret Santa like we do every year. So that's what we're talking about. It's going to be a good time.
That's right. And last year I almost did not participate because I have been shafted by Secret Santas from days gone by. But the VG Collect Secret Santa is awesome. So everyone's really great, and it's a lot of fun to do it.
It's my first time doing it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I haven't taken part of it yet.
I hope you guys. I know.
I've done it from the start. So.
Yeah,
Charles, are you gonna do it?
I may do it.
You should.
I actually think Red Boys, didn't I have you 2 years ago? Didn't I draw you?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Where is it?
Oh, he's going somewhere.
I think we had like a $20 limit that year.
Oh, it was only 20
or
bucks?
30.
That doesn't buy much.
It was like 20,
think it's what it-
25.
well,
This is what the bastard got me.
What did you get? Ooh, that is nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I had an extra one lying around, so it was I could get him to the limit, So there you go.
Yeah.
And it was like his most wanted game, so.
Yeah, no.
That is
I
awesome.
just need Super Castlevania 4.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I do enjoy that game.
But Yeah, I remember that. Shoot, who was it that I had that first year? I think might have been Sora.
Ow!
Oh, did you really?
The Castlevania guy.
That's Matt or Scott.
Scott. Wow. But yeah, I had him, and where I just had a few games that I just happened to have. Got a couple others, and I gave him an extra was the Castlevania manga.
See, we're all
I
about
did not see
giving
him
with Fiji
do anything
Collections.
about
Yeah.
that.
Ah!
I love it.
I'm sorry, Doc. I didn't mean to scare you.
And where actually mine from last year was Pugmire.
You had T Pugmire last year?
Yeah.
Love it.
I had Argyle last year. I got him.
Well, he's
Can't
one
remember
who
who
sent
had me
me.
though.
Diskyniac and I, we had each other, so we were.
That's funny.
Yeah, we were good.
Yeah,
Is that how you pronounce that?
person I sent last year
I
was
think so.
and I got from Pugmire.
Okay.
Diskyniac.
Yeah, Diskyniac. That's my guess.
I
At
just
least.
call him Kenny.
Kenny. Yeah, I Kenny Ledger.
Haven't seen
Well,
him
my friends,
lately
we
on
have about 7 minutes left. It takes a long time usually to wrap this show up when there's more of us on here.
Yeah.
Mr. Nikon has a bag of something. It looks like he's buying.
Oh yeah, we got to see what you got.
We have.
What your goodies
Yeah, so I
are.
went to Goodwill tonight. You know, Jenny was she's shopping for her Halloween costume stuff, so you know I checked the electronic stuff for, you know, video game crap. And I just look over there.
Opposite tab.
You know, they had a bunch of
$20
the
in my
NES games.
pocket.
There's a stack
Sorry,
of
too
the
much.
NES
Sorry.
games
I
there for,
love it.
you know,
Oh my God! You
Wow.
all
got a
$1.99.
haul.
I never find anything like that when I go to a thrift shop.
I just
Right?
walked right up. They're sitting. Got King of the Ring, Data East,
Never heard of it.
$1.99.
Oh, it's a boxing game and it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Huh.
WrestleMania,
The
Oh
Hulk Hogan.
yeah. What
another
you got?
$1.99.
Not fun. I
Konami
always
Track
thought
and
that
Field.
Andre the Giant looked like he had Down syndrome in that game.
Yeah.
Oh, you can play as other people in that game?
Track and Field.
2 track and fields?
What? Just one.
Oh, just one. Okay.
Spy Hunter.
Look at that cover. So 80s. I love it.
Yeah. Got Contra.
All right.
Nice. There we go.
I already have it.
How much did you give for Contra? How much did you give for it?
$1.99.
Oh, how does that-
$1 make it holla. Wow.
How much does Contra go for?
About 30, 35.
30. Yeah, that's probably right. You should send it my way. I'll take good care of
Got
it.
Strider.
I don't have an NES, so I wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to play it. But
Also Strider for.
Sean the Unbeliever.
Oh my God. Mr. Nikon, you got the mega the jackpot.
Operation Wolf.
That's
Isn't
another
that
variety I
a-
like.
Isn't that is that a light gun game? I know it's like
Yeah.
a shooter.
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
And Rad Racer.
Classic. Staple.
And also there's a Super Nintendo game there.
Ooh. Careful
It
now.
is Super Pinball Beyond the Mask.
Oh man, that game is really good. I don't know.
Really? It's
Also
I have no
$1.99.
idea. No, I'm just saying that. I don't know.
They're all $1.99, so I just
Dude, $1.99
awesome.
Contra is
for
awesome.
each one.
that is wonderful. Good job, Mr. Nikon. We're proud of
Plus,
you.
I got a 10% off coupon. So
So when you get
You
your
got
next
10%
pinball,
off
you get a
They're
lots of money for
$1.80
it.
a piece.
Yep.
yeah, so it's like taking the tax off pretty much. Tax in Chicago is 9.25%. So
Oh,
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
not
Just from
standard
Chicago?
anymore,
Just
isn't it?
Chicago or the whole state of Illinois?
that's the city of Chicago.
It's really weird.
That's like the town that I work in, not the one that I live in, is we have nearly 11%
Hmm.
just for city taxes.
That is wow.
it's 7 around here.
7. I'm actually not sure what it is here in Nashville, but I don't pay attention. I just buy things like I'll take this, this, and this. Swipe, go home, play.
Yeah, I
Budget,
have no
what's
money
that?
now. And what's worse, I got paid today, so
Oh,
I'm like, these
Mr. Knight working for the weekend.
yeah, these are just sitting on top of an old VCR. Like on the rack, I'm kind of like, oh, mine.
Yeah, love it.
So.
Well, in
we
other
should
news,
probably start doing our
just forward-
usual wrap-up things right about now, unless someone else
No,
has
you want-
some.
Actually, you want to go over what I got at Comic-Con over the
Oh
weekend?
my God!
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Red Blaze just came back from New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
How was that, man?
It was pretty cool. I wish that I could have gone and seen the Ash vs. Evil Dead panel, but
I've never been to any of that.
it got filled up before we got there.
Yeah, I may go to TARDIS Con here in Chicago.
All right, Red Blaze, what you got?
Well, here's a present from my uncle. Evil Dead 2: Beyond Dead by Dawn. First issue of a series that they're doing that follows, I believe, the girl from the second movie. Shows up and apparently she goes to hell.
What else? What else?
Yeah, I picked up the game's Silent Service.
Okay.
It's an Ultra game, so I figured those tend to be pretty good.
Don't get your
And
for that one, man.
huh?
So what now?
Sorry.
That's
Don't get
okay.
your hopes up for Silent Service.
Okay. I didn't pay much for it, so. But that, Fatal Fury 2.
I love Hail Fury. So fun. Good mindless fun.
I picked up this figure right here, one of Lucina from Fire Emblem Awakening, because I'm a big Fire Emblem fan, and that's pretty much, outside of Amiibos, the only merchandise I've actually seen.
She's
They were-
showing next to Link there.
Huh?
Is that Link next to her?
Yeah, I've had that one for a while.
Okay.
And where I actually got the final 2 U.S. releases of a series called Rico the Zombie Shop.
Is that manga?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very horror type of manga.
Oh,
What you
that's
call me?
interesting.
Just kidding.
I mean, on the first one here, it says part Sixth Sense, part Evil Dead. The violent comical and disturbing manga.
Love it.
And where I remember that because Alpha Megasin recommended it on Facebook one year. I
Cool.
picked it up. For some reason, could never find 4 and 5. But now I have the complete US set,
There you go.
which unfortunately is not the whole series because Dark Horse decided to not release the final 5 of them.
Well, Red Blaze, looks like you got a nice nice bunch of souvenirs from your trip.
Yep.
Yeah. Good old Comic-Con. I would love to go to one of those at some point.
Yeah,
I just
me
worry about
too.
all the crowds. Ugh.
You don't go there mostly you don't go there for the panels because you're probably not going to make it in.
Yeah. We talked about a little bit of that in our convention episode of Retro Reload America, so feel free to check that out.
Plug.
Plug.
Shameless
A couple
plug.
episodes ago.
A few episodes ago, indeed. So we got to
You
talk.
boys need to start saving so we can travel and do a meetup and do a show on the road somewhere at one of these.
Oh,
conventions.
that would be sweet.
I'm telling you guys, we're having a Halloween party here next week. I invited everyone.
What's the epicenter of where we all live? Where would we have to go? So it would be like...
Probably be like St. Louis.
I don't want to get shot. I'm just kidding. I could go there.
I don't know,
No, I'm good with wherever.
I definitely want to go down to Retropalooza one year.
Oh yeah, that would be so much fun, like crazy fun.
Can I toss this?
Well, my
Sure,
friends,
plan on going next year, man.
We're saving it.
yeah,
I didn't know
I'm saving,
Saturday
boys.
left. When did Dash V leave? I missed him.
A while ago.
He, when he
He probably had stuff to do.
Yeah. He's in California
Yeah.
time, so
Yeah.
it's still light where he is.
Yeah.
All right. Who would like to do our usual goodbyes this time?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, VG Collect. Subscribe below, or subscribe.
On YouTube.
Check out any links we have down below.
Comment, like,
Favorite.
send us bacon.
God.
Notice me and send pie.
Bacon pie.
Bacon pie, yes. Deep fried bacon pie. Wrapped in bacon.
God.
Fried
and
in
let
bacon.
Michael Jordan put a baby in you.
Oh my God.
Well, that's you.
And I definitely want to thank Telly for joining us this evening. So fun having you.
You're welcome. I always enjoy coming on and talking with you guys about games and fun stuff like that. It's an honor.
Exactly. Welcome anytime. Some people are not welcome anytime, but you're welcome anytime.
All right.
Ooh. Who's not welcome anytime?
I'm not telling.
There's a guy named Mr.
guy right
Nikon.
Hey. Hey.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and ask questions. Leave comments if there's something you want Retro Reload to cover. Let us know.
Comment below. Comment on VG Collect. Comment on our Facebook thing.
Yeah.
Hit me up on Twitter.
Yeah, comment to us, on Grindr, what you want to see us do.
Ugh.
I don't know what I want to see you
Might
do,
be
Charlie.
time to wrap this up.
All right.
Want to plug your Twitter real quick?
Say what now?
I asked if Surf wants to plug his Twitter real quick.
Oh yeah, Turf.
I was talking about the retro _podcast Twitter, or you can Turf1218 on Twitter, or there you go.
Or there you go on
Yeah.
Twitter.
You
Yeah,
can
I'm on
follow
Twitter
me
too.
at
It's Casual Triumph on Twitter if you're that bored. Yeah. So.
And if you want to follow me, it's at red_reload.
Very nice.
I've got
That it?
Twitter. What's my Twitter?
I think that's it.
I don't remember what my Twitter is.
Okay, he can't find his Twitter,
I have a Twitter.
but he can. Red Blaze, end this thing already.
Poor Jenny.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Peace.
See you later.
Night, y'all.
Bye-bye.